The Isle of Wight, strong energy lines and a couple of paranormal stories. Ley lines are lines of invisible energy, really only detectable using a pendulum or dowsing rods. Their alignments are of ancient and religious significance, and where they cross, there is always a church or special magical place. One of the main lines travelling downwards through the whole of the UK and beyond is the Bolinas line. This line was named by a medieval monk called Geoffrey of Monmouth, circa 1100 AD. Monmouth wrote that Bolinas was the descendant of Trojan Brutus, the mythical founder of Britain, who ruled the Kingdom of Cornwall. He ordered workmen from all over the United Kingdom to construct a road in a straight line connecting cities and places of sanctuary so people had somewhere to go where they would be safe from harm. The ley lines on the Isle of Wight seem particularly energised, although not in the same way as Stonehenge, Avebury or Glastonbury. I've always described the island as an island of two halves. Newport is roughly in the centre. To the north of Newport there's Cowes and Yarmouth and views across the Solent to the south coast mainland. The energies in the north feel fresh and vibrant. However, the south of Newport has a totally different feel completely. I decided to holiday there a few years ago and went to Ventnor Botanical Gardens, which was formerly a hospital. It opened in 1869 and closed in 1964 because of the introduction of drug treatments for TB, before it was demolished in 1969. The Botanical Gardens were opened in 1970. When I visited the gardens, I conversed with the spirit of a man who had been a patient there in the 1940s. He was sitting by a garden ornament. So clear was this energy, I can describe what he was wearing. He wore a white shirt and brown trousers and was smoking a cigarette. He was aged in his 40s with red hair and a pale complexion. He told me he had been sent to the hospital to recover from TB, but he had died. He also told me he knew he would never leave the hospital and was quite content to stay there. And I believe that not all spirit beings want to leave places, and I believe they should stay if they want to. He had a lively and charming, pleasant personality. Other sections, however, weren't as pleasant. Lower down towards the sea, I had the feeling of not being able to breathe, and given this was a hospital for patients suffering with chest diseases, this was not surprising. If you climb to the top of Ventnor Downs, you'll be some 787 feet above sea level, giving you spectacular views out across the English Channel. It was for this reason that a top-secret radar chain was built on the summit. Construction began on 4 350-foot-tall pylons in 1939, and when hostilities began between England and Germany, this area was the target for heavy raids, with Ventnor suffering many casualties from these raids. After the war, this location became a large complex of underground bunkers for use in nuclear attack. This area saw the island's worst plane crash in 1962, when a Channel Islands Dakota aircraft flew into the summit due to dense fog. The plane bounced through the boundary fence of the RAF station. Of the 17 people on board, only 5 people survived. To make matters worse, the wreckage was left on the summit for several days after the crash, with curious locals visiting and being traumatised by what they saw. In 1964, a senior air traffic engineer was relocated to the radar station from Manchester. He claims working at the radar station at night was particularly creepy, with strange and inexplicable noises being heard. Staff heard engine noises, doors banging when the doors were locked, and footsteps where nobody should have been walking. The witness says that all the staff who were there at night had the feeling of being watched by unseen presences and feeling uncomfortable. One staff member used to bring his dog to work, but the animal would never go into the equipment room. He'd just sit outside and bark. Today, the old radar system has gone, and the site is now run by the National Air Traffic Services. I was part of an all-night paranormal investigation in 2008 at Blackgang Chine, which is the creepiest theme park I have ever visited. This is Britain's oldest theme park, having been created in 1836. However, so much tragedy has occurred there, it's left its mark, and the atmosphere is oppressive and ominous. Much of the original park fell into the sea, and what's left is children's rides, broken and abandoned. In 1836, the cargo ship the Clarendon was shipwrecked at the foot of Blackgang Chine, with all on board her being lost. Another ghost hunter on the investigation caught on camera a red orb, completely red. This is my signal that not all is well in this location, as red orbs, in my experience, can indicate unpleasant energies and beings.